Welcome. Happy Easter. We are so pleased that you are joining us today. Our Easter story today does not start at the empty tomb. Rather, it starts on a road with two people journeying away from Jerusalem, away from their hopes, and away from an end that they thought was certain. And while they were walking, they were joined by another. And during that time, they discovered that they were not actually alone and that the end was not actually an end. However you find yourself today joining our journey, grieving, certain, cynical, wondering, hope-filled, or weary, you are welcome to worship with us on this day. And we hope that as we journey together, you may find not only are you not alone, but that you are invited day after day, moment after moment, to new beginnings. Let us worship.
We are not alone. We are not alone. We are not alone. God is with us. We are not alone. We are not alone. We are not alone. God is with us. We are not alone. We are not alone. We are not alone. God is with us. We are not alone. We are not alone. We are not alone. God is with us. We are not alone. We are never alone. We are not alone. We are never alone. God is with us. God is with us ever and ever. We are never alone. Are not alone. We are not alone. We are not alone. God is with us. We are not alone. We are not alone. We are not alone. God is with us. We are not alone. We are not alone. We are not alone. God is with us. We are not alone. We will trust. We are not alone. God is with us. We are not alone. We are never alone. We are never alone. God is with us. God is with us ever and ever. We are never alone. Are not alone. We are not alone. God is with us. We are not alone. We are not alone. We are not alone. God is with us. We are not alone. God is with us now.
A reading from Luke 24. Now on the same day, two of them were going to a village called Emmaus, about 7 miles from Jerusalem, and talking with each other about the events that had happened. And while they were talking and walking and discussing, Jesus himself came near and went with them. But their eyes were kept from recognizing him. And he said to them, "What are you discussing with each other while you walk along?" They stood still, looking sad. Then one of them, whose name was Cleopas, answered him, "Are you the only stranger in Jerusalem who does not know of the things that have taken place there in these days?" He asked them, "What things?" And then they went on to tell him about Jesus of Nazareth, how he was the hope for Israel, how he was crucified and he died and he was placed in a tomb, and how that very day, 3 days later, women in their circle had gone to the tomb and he was not there, and an angel had told them that he was alive. Then Jesus said to them, "How foolish you are, And how slow of heart to believe all the prophets have, to not believe all of the prophets had declared. And then Jesus tells them this is what the Messiah needed to go through to achieve his glory. And he told them about the scriptures. As they came near the village to which they were going, he walked ahead of them as if to be going on. But they urged him strongly, saying, "Stay with us, because it is most evening, and the day is now nearly over." So he went in to stay with them, and when he was at table with them, he took bread, blessed it, and broke it, and gave it to them. Then their eyes were opened, and they recognized him, and he vanished from their sight. They said to each other, "Were not our hearts burning within us while he was talking with us on the road, while he was opening the scriptures to us?" That same hour they got up and returned to Jerusalem, and they found the 11 and their companions gathered together. And they were saying, "The Lord has risen indeed. He has appeared to Simon." Then they told what had happened on the road and how he had been made known to them in the breaking of the bread.
I want to come clean about something. Sometimes hope annoys me. Now, I believe in hope. I need hope. I build my life and ministry around hope. But hope is risky. Hope asks us to open our hands again after disappointment has taught us to clench them shut, to love again after loss, to trust the road continues, even though all the signs say dead end. Given everything that's happening in the world right now, the violence, the fear, the fracturing of things that we thought were solid, maybe something you're carrying right now, you might find it genuinely hard to risk hope. It's easier. Sometimes it feels wiser to just close our hearts off. I understand that impulse. I feel it myself. But I don't think we can afford despair. As the story we heard earlier said, after the crucifixion, 2 of the followers of Jesus are not at the tomb singing Alleluia. They're walking away from Jerusalem, away from the place where their hopes were buried, trying to make sense of what could not be made sense of. I've always loved the honesty of that, because that's precisely where many of us live much of the time. Not standing triumphantly at the empty tomb, but on some long road with more questions than answers. A woman once sat across from me, her husband of 50 years beside her, or rather his body was. Alzheimer's had taken so much already. And she looked at me and asked why. Why? I've heard that question, why, in more rooms than I can count. Where are you asking why this morning? Why is rarely a request for information. It's a protest, a wound looking for air, a love with nowhere left to go. I didn't have an answer for that woman. I'm not sure I ever do. The road to Emmaus is the road of why. Luke tells us that the disciples were talking about everything that had happened. That's what grief does. Grief circles, repeats, rehearses, hoping maybe this time the answer will hurt less. And then come the 3 saddest words in Scripture. We had hoped. We had hoped the marriage would last. The treatment would work. The addiction would loosen its grip. The child would come home. the peace talks would work. The worst thing would not happen. It matters that Easter begins right there. Not at the empty tomb, not in triumph, but on a dusty road between two heartbroken people who don't know yet that the story isn't over. Because Easter is not denial. Easter is not pretending that Good Friday didn't happen. It's not optimism with better music. Easter is what happens when God speaks one more word into a world that thought the story was over. The worst thing will never be the last thing. If it looks like love isn't winning, it just means the story isn't over yet. So back to the story. A stranger falls into step alongside the disciples. No announcement, no glory. He just walks beside them and asks what they're talking about. Cleopas says, with the disbelief of someone whose world has collapsed, "Are you the only one who doesn't know what's happened?" And the stranger says gently, "What?" He asks them to tell the story, not because he doesn't know, but because they need to say it. Because grief that has no language stays trapped. Because sometimes the first grace is simply someone willing to walk beside you while you tell the truth about what you're carrying. Jesus doesn't shame them. He doesn't rush them. He stays. The first gift of resurrection is not explanation. It's companionship. I mean, not answers. Presence. The risen Christ doesn't begin by solving their questions. He begins by joining them right there in the midst of their questions. Friends, some things cannot be fixed, only carried. And the question is not whether we will have to carry them. The question is whether we carry them alone. And somewhere on the road, something starts to happen. Not certainty, just a stirring, a warmth they can't quite name. Later they will say, "Were not our hearts burning within us while he talked with us on the road?" Not, "Did we finally understand everything?" No. Their hearts burned. Their hearts burned before their minds could even make sense of it. Something in them recognized life, hope, the possibility that the story was not as finished as they thought. And that's how resurrection often begins. Not as an argument won, but as a quiet burning in the heart that refuses to go out. And they recognize it, not in a theological explanation, but in the breaking of bread at the table, in the ordinary gesture of bread blessed, broken, and given. Resurrection doesn't only happen in sanctuaries. It happens on roads, at tables, in kitchens, in hospital rooms. Resurrection happens in all of the ordinary places where love refuses to die. Easter isn't about proving anything. You can't possibly explain the unexplainable. Easter is about choosing to believe and to bet your life on one thing, that love is stronger than the absolute worst life can throw at us. I need to believe that now more than ever. I suspect you do too. As I sit tempted by despair over all that's happening in the world, I want to tell you about people whose hearts are burning. There's an organization called Parent Circle Families Forum, made up of over 700 Palestinian and Israeli families, every one of them having lost a close family member to the conflict, to the violence, to the war. These are people who have every reason to harden, every reason to hate. People who've earned the right, if anyone has, the right to despair. And yet they sit down together, Palestinian mothers and Israeli mothers, Palestinian fathers and Israeli fathers. And they sit across from each other and they tell each other the stories of the children they have lost. They look into the faces of people the world calls their enemies. And they choose, at enormous cost, to see their shared humanity instead, to see their shared grief. One Israeli father whose daughter was killed said, I could have chosen hatred. It would have been so much easier. But hatred would have meant she died for nothing. Love is how I keep her alive. Friends, I don't know what to call that except resurrection. Not the end of grief, not a tidy answer to the why, but something burning in the heart that refuses to go out. People choosing to bring life where there is death. People choosing to love still, to love more, because they know what it costs when love fails. Their hearts are burning, and they turned around. The remedy for grief is not to feel less. The remedy for despair is not to care less. It is to love still, to love more. Closing off our hearts might feel like protection, but it's its own kind of death. And friends, we were not made for that. In the story, once their hearts had burned, the disciples turned around, back to Jerusalem, back to the place of heartbreak, back to the frightened community that they had left. Resurrection doesn't remove us from the world's pain. It sends us back into it. So here is the Easter invitation. Go back. Go back to that hard conversation. Go back to the person that you've been too frightened or too proud to reach toward. Feed someone. Sit with someone. Love someone in the specific, inconvenient way that only you can. You don't have to end a war. You just have to bring your love to the particular patch of ground where you stand and trust that love offered faithfully, that is how the story turns. Those Palestinian and Israeli parents already know something most of us are still learning. Not certainty, not proof. Just this: Christ is risen. Which means love wins. And you, each of you are love storytellers. So go and love as if you dare to believe that is true. Amen. Here's a prayer for us on this Easter. God of the road and the table and the burning heart, we come this morning carrying our own why, our own roads away from Jerusalem, our own grief that's not been resolved into answers. Meet us here as you met those two on the dusty road, not with explanations, just with presence, just with the stubborn, costly resurrection love that refuses to let despair be the last word. And give us the courage of those who have lost the most and chosen to love still, to love more. Oh God, make our hearts burn. And when they do, send us into the world to live and to love as if we actually believe love wins. Because we do. Even on the days it is hard to. We do. Christ is risen. Christ is risen indeed.
When I can't take the first step, when all I'm holding is my breath, I pray that you are there.
When I can't seem to forget, when I can't see the morning light yet, I pray that you are there. I pray love is greater than fear.
Love is greater than, greater than, greater than fear.
Love is greater than, greater than, greater than fear. Love is greater than, greater than, greater than fear. Love is greater than, greater than, greater than fear.
When I can't find another way, when I don't have the words to say, I pray that you are there. I pray love is greater than fear. Love is greater than, greater than, greater than fear. Love is greater than, greater than, greater than fear. Love is greater than, greater than, greater than fear. Love is greater than, greater than, greater than fear. Love is greater than, greater than, greater than, oh, love is greater, greater than fear. Love is greater than, greater than, greater. Love is greater. Love is greater than fear. Love is, love is, love is greater than fear.
Love is greater than, greater than, greater than fear. Love is greater than, greater than, greater
Friends, may you remember the promise of Easter, that the worst thing will never be the last thing. May you dare to believe just this one thing. Bet your life on this one thing. Love is stronger than the worst that life can throw at us. Love wins. And if it looks like love isn't winning, it just means the story isn't over yet. And we are part of that story. Christ is risen. Christ is risen indeed. Happy Easter.
Hold on to me as we go, as we roll down this unfamiliar road. And although this way is stringing us along, just know you're not alone, 'cause I'm gonna make this place your home. Settle down, it'll all be clear. Don't pay no mind to the demons, they fill you with fear. But the trouble, it might drag you down. If you get lost, you can always be found. Just know you're not alone, 'cause I'm gonna make this place your home. Settle down, it'll all be clear. Don't pay no mind to the demons, they fill you with fear. The trouble, it might drag you down. If you get lost, you can always be found. But just know you're not alone, 'cause I'm gonna make this place your home.
Friends, this worship broadcast is only possible because of your generous support. We need your support in sharing this spacious Christianity, a faith that welcomes questions, embraces difference, and makes room for everyone. Please consider making a financial gift today. You can give online at bendfp.org or by using the QR code on your screen. Thank you for worshiping with us. It's a gift to have you here. Until next time, may God bless you.